Hello, I am doing a recap of episode 7 of Borrow Your Love. And it started off again with um, G. Lee Shaw talking to Shashi Lee and taking her up to the pool and then pushing her. And here comes Ping running like, oh no, you didn't. And she pushed her in the water like now what? And she starts getting her hand out to tell Shashi Lee to come on. But then of course while this happening, executive sees it all. He's like, I gotta get my boo, and he jumps in and he pulls her out, and G. Shaw ends up swimming all the way to the other side and get down. But what she do? Her dress falls down, and she's even more embarrassed. And Yishin tries to help her put a jacket over her, but she gets mad and she pushes him out the way. He ends up falling in the water, and as he does, he looks over to Sha and Ping, and she's over there laughing. And so the player, Ji Han Ying, he's running after his little sister, and she shut the door and throwing people's stuff. Like, this ain't even your house. How dare you throw people's things? And she's like, leave me alone, leave me alone. And then it got quiet, and then she was like, hey. And she opens the door, and there is Shashi Lee with some clothes. And I'm like, she just pushed you in the pool, and you could not swim, and you over here being nice to her? And she was trying to say something, and Sha didn't care. She was like, bye. And Shashi Lee noticed there's a scar on her wrist, and she goes back to remembering a little girl messing with her at the orphanage, and Sha and Ping pushed the little girl to get away from her, and the little girl scratched up her arm. And a couple years later, she's going out the office after telling those people that she had asthma, and here's the girl with the little scar comes and like introduces herself, and she said her name was Shasha, and she's like, is your name Shasha? And Jila Shah is still tripping, like, I don't know who this Shasha is, and this and that. Shashi Lee was like, my bad. It's just that same scar that you got. I know of a girl named Shasha. And she said, well, it's not me. I am Jila Shah, not no Shasha. So Shashi Lee starts backing away. She said, it's odd that you cover your scar. She said, maybe I asked Sha and Ping, and she leaves. And Sha Ping was like, Shashi Lee was like, that's just too similar. And here comes Jila Sha come out and say, it's like, okay, you win, but you cannot tell Sha Ping. But she's like, why not? And why you cover up the scar? She said it's Sha and Ping's fault in the first place that I got this scar, and I gotta be reminded, and I'm trying to forget that past, and because of her now I always remember. And I'm like, wow. And she's like, you can't tell nobody because only my family knows I'm adopted. And she said, in this rich world, you can't be saying information about this and that, and I help you out. And he goes to the party, and Yishin is scolding Sha and Ping, saying she shouldn't have done it, and this and that. And Sha and Ping was like, that's my sister for life, and I'm going to fight for her, so why should I care what others think? And he's like, some blah, blah, blah about the boss lady. And so now she figures she did something wrong, and she was asking Yishin, like, how you know about people so much. He's like, well, I learned it from prison. And he walks away eating something. And she's like, man, I gotta ask him one day, like, what did he do to get in prison? And so he's inside, and here comes G Lasha, and she was like, thank you for helping me. She said, I'm sorry, I buy you a new jacket. And he was like, whatever. He was just whatever, and just walked away. And then her player brother came and got her. And then it goes uh, to the executive assistant's house. He was drinking. He was like, I thought I was gonna lose you forever, with his wine up in his hand. And he hears a thing. He was like, right on time. He opens the door. Not who he think it is. It's the gangster. You know, the dude, the gangster that's been, that was trying to kill Sean Ping and Shashi Lee, and the one that stabbed him. And he was like, look, I need my money. And the dude said, well, and Executive said, I ain't got the other half because I'm thinking of dropping the case against you, and then you work for me. And the dude was like, shoot, as long as you give me money every month, shoot, it's cool. And they shook on it. They heard a ding, and so he's going out the way, and there is Shashi Lee, and she's like, thank you. And the gangster got to get out. The dude is causing all this trouble, and so the executive assistant start kissing her. I don't know how, but like he ended up get her against the wall, kissing her, and somehow walking it back around, and they end up on the couch. And the gangster dude just sitting there, just standing there, just watching it. And I'm like, why is she watching this? And the executive assistant like, no, with his eyebrow, whatever he did, the eyebrow signaled to move, like it really did. Like it's like, you need to go. And he leaves, and the kiss just ends up on the couch, and then it's going to the boss lady scene. It ends with them, going slowly back on the couch, and the scene goes to bombing, the boss lady. And she's holding this drink in her hand, and she's remembering her husband gave it to her. And it's an unfinished pearl, like the pearl didn't ever finish coming out the shell. And here comes Sean Ping, and she's like, I'm going to give this to you. And Sean Ping feels so happy because she thought she was going to get in trouble, which she didn't, and put it on her. And then they hear this growl, and the boss lady's like, that's me. And so Sean Ping fixed her some ramen noodles, and she was like, what's wrong with this? It don't look like the regular noodles. And she's like, I put milk in it because it's supposed to be healthy. And she's like, I like this. And Sean Ping was like, what? I thought I invented it. And it goes back to a scene of the boss lady used to cook for her Sean Ping's father that way. She used to put milk in his food too. And so kind of get her sad, and then Sean Ping, I don't know, she asked her what's wrong, but then the boss lady was like, I want you to be manager, and Sean Ping's like, only if I get paid. And they do, and she said, yeah, you do. And it was just a little sweet moment for them. And next day, guess who wakes up in the executive assistant's bed? We know what they did, but he didn't call out another chick's name in his sleep. And she was like, what? She didn't wake him up, which she should have slapped him awake. She should have slapped him. She should have slapped him awake. But she didn't. I guess she shouldn't. She got and she noticed his tie, and she's like, Sean Pink's. That's the tie that Sean Pink had. And they didn't land them both next day or that day. Both are all happy and cheery. Sean Ping is like happy now that she's getting the higher job, and Shashi Lee is Sister for Life. She's happy. She's with her boo, and because he told her, "Listen, I won't ever leave you." After she thanked him for saving her life and whatnot, and they both end up by the staircase, and Shashi Lee's like, congratulations on being a manager. And Sean Ping was like, congratulations on not coming home. And Shashi Lee's like, what? Shoot, I learned that from you. And so, I have no idea what happened next. It could have been, think it was a scene that it was Ji Hao Ying, the player, Shan Ping, Shashi Lee, the sister for life, and Ji Li Sha, the player's younger sister. And they was with a bunch of people at this hotel, and of course Li Sha, the diva that she is, was like, "I'm tired. After this, then we can go look at locations." So, um, Ji Hao Ying said, "Okay, here." Um, um, he told Sean Ping and Shashi Lee that y'all go in there and rest, and we do locations. And well, that scene, he goes back to the dad, Ji Xin, the brother-in-law, and he's seeing this girl, and he was like, "Oh, it's my first time seeing my my son's girlfriend." And he was like, "Look, can you look up this lady, and here's some money for it." So basically, I think, and she's a nurse, I believe. So he's wanting to know um he's wanting to know some information, and she agreed. And then it goes back to Sha Ping and Shashi Lee in the room, and Shashi Lee tells Sha Ping, she said, Yi Shin is supposed to come later, and I asked the executive assistant to come so we can double date. And Sha Ping's like, "What?" Oh yeah, before that, she asked Sha Ping about the the um the tie clip, and Sean Pink played it off saying she gave it to him, but he don't really wear ties, and she just went off to the window. And Shashi Lee found something odd about that. Like, she's like, she wouldn't lie to me, and she said maybe Jishin doesn't wear ties. And she's like, "Wait, he don't wear ties." And anyway, just when she told her was going on a double date, and Sean Pink weren't really feeling that. And next thing you know, why they doing such work, or before that, it goes to Yi Shin going back to when he first got out of prison. He went to this little place to eat, and there was this the same cop that visited him when he was visiting his sister's grave. They asked him, about his boss, and the detective dude was like, "You got." He told him about the executive assistant dropping the case, which Yi Shin found it out, and then told him, like, "Next time, look, treat me to a better meal." And so then it goes back, and Jolly Shaw got Sean Ping working like forever, and like just doing all kind of stuff, and that's just wrong. And so Shashi Lee's already back in the room, and Sean Ping comes in tired, and she's laying down, and that was like. And Shashi Lee was like, "Look, we have the double date. You need to. I'm gonna let you rest, but make sure you come join us." And so during that time that she goes off, Yi Shin, the executive assistant, enter, and Yi Shin asked him about, like, why did you drop the case? And he was like, that was the boss lady's attentions. And he was like, but he tried to almost kill his daughter. And he was like, well, that's the brilliance of the boss lady. She said they got some secret stuff, and he's like, basically listen to everything she say, but don't listen. And then here comes the lady saying, Yishin, someone wants to see you out on the patio or something like that. And she said, I'll take your bag. And when Yishin gets there, there's Jalisha, and she said, I want to treat you to a meal for helping me the other day. Or yesterday, who knows? Yesterday. And he was like, I don't like his fancy stuff. And he gets up to leave. All the way before when he got there, he was like, it's you. And she said, was you expecting Shashi Lee? Because I know you wasn't expecting Sha Ping. And but anyway, so after that, he gets up to leave, and she said, a gentleman doesn't leave a lady by herself. And he's like, gentleman? He's like, I ain't a gentleman. And he gets off, and he's about to, like, walk off, but executive assistant and Shashi Lee come up. And that, it goes on to the scene with Shy and Pink back on the bed, and she was like, I don't want to get up. And then she realized the food she eating is gonna be fancy, where you have to have different forks and spoons. And she was like, oh no. So I think she called someone at the orphanage to help her, but they wouldn't help her. And she get a knock at the door, and there's the player. He was suspecting Shashi Lee, and so she brings. Then he goes back to the scene of man, I'm getting little stuff mixed up, but it's all good. It executive assistant basically invited G La Sha to eat dinner with them, and so all of them at the table, and Shy and Ping and the player is at the table. So you got Shy and Ping, Yi Shin, the executive assistant, Shashi Lee, you got Ji La Sha and Ji Ha Ying, the player. And everyone's ordering their drinks, and here comes food, and there's and it starts off with the salad, and Shy and Pink is like, she don't want to be embarrassed and everything, and she start about to pick this fork, and she looks up right at the time that the executive assistant's like, just like, so and she gets it and pick, and she touched the other fork, and he's like, and what's that girl name? Shashi Lee catches this, and then the real food comes. And here we go again. There's a crab, and everyone's like, I didn't order a crab. And Ji La Sha told Shy and Ping, I ordered it for you. And she did it to do it embarrassing, and Shy, and you could tell it's got comfortable at the table, because it's like, you could tell Ji La Sha did it to embarrass Shy and Ping, which she did. She was making it in her own head, and and Ji Shin was gonna trade for her, because pretty much everybody saw what Ji La Shi was trying to do, and she was like, no one wants your food. And he was like, why? He's like, she like, your head's been all over it. This is what Ji La Shi was telling him. And Shy and Pink was like, it's okay, I like crabs. But when she was cutting it with a fork and a knife. I really don't know how you eat crabs, but I know you're supposed to use the crab opener, but I don't know. I don't know how you do it, fancy restaurant. Anyway, and when she did, she was trying to cut it. It flew off the table, and so she was like, laughing, just like, ooh, that girl. Anyway. And she picked it up, she's like, I got it! And when she did, she ran into the waiter, and the crab fell off and went bloop, right on Ji La Sha's head. And that is what she is for trying to be mean. And Ji La starts screaming on the top of her lungs. And it goes to the next scene with Shy and Pink outside at nighttime, just looking sad, and Yi Shin just comes in, and he's like, he was like all up in her face smelling it. It smelled like juice still, and she's like, push, she just push his head away, just and you push his head away. He sat there and he was like, what's wrong? And she's like, the director wants me to have this and that, but I don't know how to do that. He's like, I wonder why them rich kids got you doing this when they got like this rich camera. And he looks, and he's like, hold on. He comes right back, and he brings out a sketchbook, and he starts drawing the scene out for her. And she's thinking in her head, she said, if I didn't know any better that he was faking, she said, I think it was real, and that he likes me. And she smells, and he catches her to notice that she's smelling at him, and he smells, and she looks back down. He was like, you can go to bed. And she's like, no, that wouldn't be right. She said that I'll go to bed while you out here working. And he was like, okay, we could, after I'm done, we could sleep together. And she's like, yeah, okay. He like looked up, and she was like, who will sleep with you? And he goes back down and drawing, and he finished, and he's like, let's go to bed. And he gets up to leave, and he knows she's still there. And she's like, I think I'm gonna stay here. She said, the scene, the dock that she was drawing, she said, it's very pretty, and I ain't never been in the boat, and I just want to stay here a couple minutes. You can go ahead and go to bed. And he was like, come on. He grabs the sketchbook, and he takes her out to the canoe, and they talking, and she telling him thanks for everything, and then she's like, why did you go to prison? And he was like, my best friend killed somebody and I took the fall. And she's like, you stupid. He was like, what? And she was like, oh, she said, was it worth it? And he was like, uh at the time, yes, but now no. He started going on and stuff, and by the time he looks back at her, she's like falling asleep, just like. And while she is, he gets the sketchbooks and draw, and they both fall asleep until the morning, in the canoe. Both of them, just knocked out. Both of them are knocked out. So they both slept into the morning, and the scene is with Shasha Lee in this pretty dress, and she's walking down the aisle, and there is executive assistants right there, and then when she gets to it, it's like, Arr! It's not executive assistant. She was daydreaming it, and Sean Ping runs up to her and tells her, just imagine executive assistant. And I don't know because she said it loud enough or what, but Shasha Lee started going off on her. I don't know what she tripping on, but she didn't have to go on shopping like that. And Sean Ping was like, what's her problem? And then they go to the next, then here comes G La Sha yelling at Sean Ping, you need to go this and that. And when she go meet the director, she shows her drawing. He's like, is this your drawing? Did you do this? She didn't say nothing. He's like, these are really good, and it made her smile. And then there's a scene, she's across the thing, and the scene involves Shasha Lee getting in the water, and in the canoe, and poor her because she can't swim, and I'm like, and she's like, Shaw's looking at her like, I guess she won't do nothing to her anymore. And here comes the executive assistant and Yishin to tell her good luck. And while she's in the water, the executive assistant's having that memory again of why of him having that boat that his dad gave him, and being with Yishin's sister. And here comes Sha and Ping. And I don't know, she shall leave when Shaw started going off on her, and she leaves and she drops all the jewelry. And what do you know? Again, Yishin's sister's name comes out of the executive assistant's mouth. I don't even remember if I said it right. Yishin's sister, came out of the executive assistant's mouth. And Yishin's like, did I just hear what he said? And they both want to come to help her get up. And while they doing it, some of the jewelry fell out, and G La Sha grabbed some of it. And I'm like, whoa, this girl. And so Yishin gets a call from the gang. Dude said, you told me to follow the brother-in-law, right? He said he's doing something sneaky, that's why I'm calling you. And here comes Yishin coming back in. And he was like, did I hear you say my sister's name? And he's like, no, you naked. And then, Yishin gets up in his face, and he's like, look. And she was executive assistant dude was like, look, that might work when we was younger, but we ain't young anymore. And I think he asked him about Sha and Ping and Sha Lee. And, executive assistant admit that he do find because Yishin's because Sha and Ping does look like she kind of has similarities to Yishin's sister. And he was like, you better not be using Sha and Ping and hurting her. And executive assistant admitted, like, I find Sha and Ping cute, but I think he said I did like her, but he said I do love Shasha Lee. And Shasha Lee had came up and listened to this conversation, and then here comes the player Ji Hao Ying. He get mad and saying, like, look, I like Shashi Lee too, and this is when the English subs cut off, so I'm just gonna guess, but whatever. They end up having a duel with horses, and they're running. And I don't know what the exactly what it is, but I think it's whoever run around 2 rounds wins Shashi Lee's heart, and Sean Ping comes and join them, and Sean Ping is like, I got my money on the executive assistant, and G Lachelle said, I got my money on my brother, and then G Lachelle was like, why are you even over here? Don't you got stuff to pack? And Sean Ping said, I will after this race is over. And while it was racing, I don't know, Sean Ping got outside of the fence and was cheering, and Jala Shaw was like checking out Yi Shin, and she was like looking at, Sean Ping like, what did he like her for? Because before he joined at the table, she was like, I know he don't think that Sean Ping is more beautiful than me, and so I guess she gets the idea that she wants to show off, but from what I gather, the executive assistant did win that race, and the player tried to blame it on Sean Ping, and G Lachia wasn't really caring about that. She wanted to show off, and she tried to get on a horse, but she had her heels, and it made her start falling, and her brother catches her, and when he does, it rips his pants, so they both embarrassed, and then it gets to the scene of where they're checking their stuff, before they leave to go off the trip. And, G Lachia said, you need to check everything. And, Shashi Lee is with them too. And she started checking. She noticed stuff. And she noticed there is some missing. And, of course, as we know, G Lachia is the one that took that. And, oh, the girl is so wrong. So now, and so Shashi Lee was like, you have any idea, remember how they got lost? And then Sean Ping remembered when she fell, some of her jewelry fell, and that's where it possibly could be. And the episode ended right there. And that was it.